Welcome to the channel. Manchester United have officially announced Ruben Amorim as their new head coach. We've got loads of left-back stories to go through, including a priority transfer target. We've got an interesting or funny story around a tit-for-tat regarding Newcastle, which I found really amusing. Some injury news, links with Morten Hjulmand to go through, and an absolutely packed show that will keep you right up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Welcome to Man United Review. My name's Jamie. Before we get into it, please smash a like on the video and let's jump straight into it. So I was literally sat doing all my prep for this video, and then Manchester United have officially announced Ruben Amorim as their new head coach, which we'll discuss in a second. To be fair, I don't think it's like a secret or anything. It's more of a shock for me because of the announcement and the timing, because I wasn't expecting the announcement today, especially before Sporting Lisbon's game tonight, because it was kind of widely documented, or I brought you the news yesterday, that Amorim in his press conference kind of said everything will be clear after the game and he wants to concentrate on the game. But, you know, nothing's beyond the realms of impossible now with Ineos and Man United. Look at the speed. So sacked Erik ten Hag on Monday, announced their new manager on Friday. That is speed and efficiency. And that's probably what we need to come to expect with Ineos and that now, is that they are not going to mess around and they will do what they need to do with speed as well. So let's go through this. So Manchester United are pleased to announce the appointment of Ruben Amorim as head coach of the men's first team, subject to the approval of a work visa. He will commit until June 2027 with the option for a further year once he has fulfilled his obligations to his current club. He will join Manchester United on Monday, the 11th of November. So we've got the official start date for Amorim now as well, the 11th. Ruben is one of the most exciting and highly regarded young coaches in European football, highly decorated as a player and coach. He has won the Premier Liga in Portugal twice with Sporting, the first being the club's first title in 19 years. Ruud van Nistelrooy will continue to take care of the team until Ruben arrives. That came officially from the Manchester United website. So it has been announced by the club. Ruben Amorim is now our new head coach, which is interesting because Ineos did want that with when it comes to, because that was part of the problem with Erik ten Hag is his contract dispute, is that United want a head coach. They don't want a manager. They want somebody to come in and coach the players, and them with Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox and everyone want to kind of concentrate more on the recruitment and stuff like that as well. So it's interesting that it's kind of like a different profile for United. That's obviously the way they want to go forward. They want to they don't want a manager dictating things. They want a head coach, someone to coach the players, and then work with the directors of football and stuff on recruitment and players and stuff like that as well. So, you know, smash a like on the video if you're happy to see not just Amorim coming in, because I do think it's exciting. I've mentioned before, though, I am going to reserve judgment because I've heard all these stories before with transformative managers and stuff, although doing obviously like you do, you've probably been doing similar as well, when you read a little bit more, dig a little deeper, watch a lot more kind of videos and bits like that as well. I am starting to get more and more excited, but I thought the same with Erik ten Hag as well, and that didn't exactly work out well. But yeah, smash a like on the video if you're not just excited for Amorim coming in, but also pleased with the manner in which United have done this, the speed in which they've kind of moved. It's been really impressive for me on this. Ten Hag gone Monday, new manager in Friday. Obviously, he's not started straight away, but as it mentions in the comment, visa issues are something we've overlooked as well. So he was never going to be in here at the club before the weekend, but to announce it before the weekend, super impressive for me. So do let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now, there's been a few more kind of updates. So Ruben Amorim is having constant calls every day with people at Manchester United, from the board to the management. So Fabrizio Romano has kind of confirmed that even though he's not official, he's in constant contact with the club already. I like that. Yeah, I like the fact that he's kind of, but again, some of that might just be around the contract and stuff like that as well, so we don't actually know the nature of those conversations, but I like the fact that he's been in constant contact with the club. Now, Melissa Reddy had the following to say: Manchester United are convinced Ruben Amorim has the ability to deliver a transformation of their tactical identity, personality, and proper football enjoyment, Ruben Amorim is simply seen as the man who can define the next generation of coaching, just as Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho had done. Those that have worked with Ruben Amorim describe him as a great communicator with simple yet impactful messaging. Now, that's really kind of powerful comments and strong words from Melissa Reddy, who is a good kind of journalist, Sky Sports journalist, chief correspondent, I think she is, for Sky Sports. Really, really kind of, credible and really, I kind of rate her kind of work and stuff. A transformative manager, proper football enjoyment, the next man, the next Guardiola or Jose Mourinho. That's not my words. That's Melissa Reddy words before anyone comes back to me in 12 months' time and it hasn't quite worked out for him. But really, really strong words. And again, these are the more the kind of stories that you research and you hear, and the more kind of you do about it, the more genuinely excited I am, but still slightly reserved. That's my opinion on it. And then Melissa Reddy also went on to say that Manchester United are confident Ruben Amorim can make some of their mega buys look like bargains. And you're going to get these sort of stories. But again, I heard that with Ten Hag, he's going to get the best out of this player and the best out of Martial and the best out of David De Gea and all these kind of things. And it didn't really work out. Although I do think that, I do kind of think that there might be merit in. And then every manager can come in and make a player play a little bit better than what they were before, just by being different, having a different voice and a different kind of personality around the place as well. But overall, I'm excited. I'm surprised by the speed of it. As I mentioned, the fact that it's been done within 5 days is unbelievable. That's not the United that we're used to, so that's a sign of, obviously, but we've had kind of dealings like that with Ineos in the past. They are not going to mess around. If they want something doing, they're just going to go out and get it done as quickly as they can. And yeah, I'm excited to see Amorim come in. I'm excited to see what happened with the formation change, what players he's going to fancy, what players he's not going to fancy, what sort of transfer targets are we going to look at? Are we going to promote more youth players coming through? Really, really interesting to see what's kind of going to be happening and going forward. I'm here for it all day. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments. Now, there's been a few other transfer news and stories that I want to go through for you. So firstly, on regards to the left back situation, so Luke Shaw and Tyrone Malacia are both hoping to be fit for Ruben Amorim's first game in charge of Manchester United away at Ipswich Town. That came from Rich Fay, who can be quite a decent source sometimes, suggesting that potentially we might actually have a left back available for Ruben Amorim's first game at Ipswich, which would be a shock in itself. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Do you know what I mean? Just like water's wet, Luke Shaw will probably get injured again, and that's that. The interesting one will be the Malacia one, because he's been out for so long. There's so many question marks around whether he's ever going to recover from that, especially with the kind of injuries that he's had. But, we'll have to wait and see what kind of happens with that. But keeping with the left back position, because we effectively have been out without a left back for 12 months, or was it February when Luke Shaw, but then he was out pretty much all last season anyway. He was out before that, came back, played a game and a half, and then was out again since February. So, and obviously Malacia has not played for nearly 18 months now, which is ridiculous. One of the other players that we've got, the young up-and-coming players, Harry Amas. So there's a growing confidence behind the scenes that Harry Amas will have a better chance of breaking through under the incoming coach, as he is likely to be given even more scope to evolve. So Dean Jones is suggesting that potentially with Amorim coming in, he might favour Harry Amas more than Erik Ten Hag did, and potentially give him a few more opportunities in that kind of left wing-back role, which I wouldn't be necessarily against, although it's still a lot of pressure to put on a 17-year-old lad. But I think technically Harry Amas is superb. It's just physically, is he quite ready yet? Not so sure, but one to keep an eye on. Definitely an interesting option. And we'll have to see what the new manager wants to do, which is why it's kind of quite exciting to get him in. Now, another player that we've been linked with bringing back, or that we could have had in the squad anyway, had the previous manager fancied him, is Alvaro Fernandez. So Ruben Amorim's immediate arrival could increase Alvaro Fernandez's chance of returning to United. I forgot to mention, this has come from Dean Jones. Dean Jones is not the most credible source, so I would say kind of take it with a pinch of salt, but it's not the first time we've been linked with Fernandez. So what the kind of suggestion is is that Alvaro Fernandez might be better suited for Amorim, and that is a viable option because we have a buyback clause for him as well. But it was a viable option anyway with Ten Hag. The club apparently were looking at potentially bringing Fernandez back, so that could be potentially an option. An option for the January transfer window, because what was this buyback clause, about 16 million, I think it is, going off of memory of the last kind of report. So could we have a future where Malacia and Shaw leave, and then we have Alvaro Fernandez and Harry Amas as your two left backs, or left wing backs, however we're going to kind of play. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then keep with the left back position. Manchester United are keen on Alphonso Davies as a potential transfer target, but it remains to be seen if they'll be able to afford him. So may turn to Ben Chilwell instead. Caught offside, understands. United also like Chelsea left-back Chilwell. However, they may turn to him as a more realistic and affordable option due to Davies's demanding a contract worth as much as 12 million euros a year. Sources close to the situation have informed Caught Offside. So Caught Offside, this wasn't from their most credible journalists because they are like a gossip outlet. So I would say, again, take that with a pinch of salt, suggesting that if we don't go for Davies, who we have been heavily linked with, if you've been subscribing or watching any of the previous videos, we have been, by credible people as well, by credible journal outlets, Christian Falk and Florian Plettenberg, who are really credible, have been linking us with Alphonso Davies, suggesting that we might go for Chilwell instead. Like, I'm going to say throw that in the bin and take it with a massive pinch of salt. We've had reports of Chilwell for a while. I don't think we want Chilwell. He's got a worse injury record than Luke Shaw. So I can't see that one. And if you're talking, I mean, the report said Chilwell's valued at 18 million euros on transfer market. And I'm thinking, well, Alvaro Fernandez is less than that. So why would you pay more to get an injury-prone Chilwell out of Chelsea than you would to get Alvaro Fernandez back? Like, that makes zero sense to me. So again, take that story with a pinch of salt is what I would say. Now, the next story, at Nori, I've seen a few reports going around that United are interested in at Nori. And again, not to burst any bubbles, but I don't believe the credibility of this story. So it says Manchester United are poised to appoint Ruben Amorim as their new boss, and the Portuguese tactician could fight off stiff competition from arch-rival Liverpool's to make Wolverhampton Wanderers star Ryan Aït-Nouri the first signing of his Old Trafford reign, Gimme Sport sources have revealed. Manchester United and Liverpool's interest in Aït-Nouri is expected to intensify at the turn of the year. Gimme Sport sources have been informed that Amorim will urgently look to acquire a left-sided wing-back after his appointment at Manchester United, due to looking to implement the same system he uses at Sporting, resulting in Aït-Nouri emerging as a primary target while Luke Shaw remains on the sidelines through injury. Again, it came from Dean Jones, not the most credible source. So it's an interesting story because Aït-Nouri is a player that we have been linked with in the past by more credible people. I think Romano, the Muppeteers as well, is kind of linked us with Aït-Nouri in the past. There's not been that much credibility though recently. So I think that's a little bit of Dean Jones going back in time, looking at our previous left backs, because obviously it is a problem area. We know Amorim's going to play this kind of 3-4-3 formation that he's kind of been renowned and recruited to potentially come in and play. So I think that's a little bit of lazy journalism, me personally. So I would say take it with a pinch of salt because it's not from the most credible source. Plus, it just feels a little bit like, United need a left back. Who have they been linked with in the past? Let's link him back with Aït-Nouri to kind of get views. That's my opinion, but I show that on the screen so you can go and check it out yourself and let me know your opinion in the comments. Now let's go through some injury updates quickly. So Lenny Yoro is expected to return to action for Manchester United in November. That's good. So he's still on track to come back. Mad, isn't it, that he's not going to have played a game under Eric Ten Hag apart from a 1.5 and 20 minutes was it against Arsenal before he came off injured. That's absolutely crazy that Ten Hag's gone before Lenny Yoro has made like an official game with us, is what I would say. Absolutely crazy, but good that he's on track to start. He could be key to Amorim's kind of formation with that three at the back. I like the idea of Yoro, De Ligt, Martinez as your kind of back three. I do actually rate that. I think that would be interesting to see. And Toby Collier has picked up an injury and is set to be unavailable for around a month. That came from the Manchester Evening News, so that might explain why we've not seen him around. Not even making the bench and So yeah, another injury for Toby Collier. Now, this next story kind of got me. It made me laugh, I've got to be honest. So, Newcastle were told that incoming senior analysis coming from Manchester United must first complete a period of gardening leave. Those at Newcastle see the move as a tit-for-tat response to their handling of Dan Ashworth's departure. Damn right it's tit-for-tat, and damn right he should see out the full amount of his gardening leave, or we demand £20 million for him, because that's exactly what Newcastle did when they were playing silly games with Dan Ashworth. So I absolutely rate that. I love it. I think that I'm massively all over that. The fact that I think they should, I just out of principle, we should make him see out his full gardening leave, just to ram it down the faces of Newcastle, who were being absolute morons when it came to the Dan Ashworth situation, and like children throwing their toys out of their prams. So I love that story. I'm here for that sort of shit all day, I've got to be honest with you. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then the final story I've got for you is regarding Hjulmand. So Manchester United are edging closer to the appointment of Ruben Amorim as their new manager, with reports developing by the hour. And Gimme Sport sources have revealed that the Portuguese boss could raid his old club Sporting by bringing Morten Hjulmand to Old Trafford, with club chiefs admiring the midfielder. Gimme Sport sources have revealed that Hjulmand is admired by United's transfer chiefs after a strong calendar year for both club and country, and his traits fit with United and Amorim. So again, that came from Gimme Sport, not the most credible of sources, but he is definitely the thing with Hjulmand, right? We've actually been linked with quite a lot of sporting players in the past, so I think you are going to get like a regurgitation of these stories. Obviously, Gyökeres is one we've been linked with in the past. Diamande is one. Inacio in the summer we were heavily linked with. Hjulmand's been a player that we've been linked with for about a year or so now. So, there are a few sporting players that we have got prior links with, and I think you are going to start seeing a lot of these in the kind of mainstream media where we're linked with this player and that player and stuff, and bits as well. So if you're into, that's why I show you the where it's come from and just kind of give my opinion on it, whether I think it's a credible source or not, because a lot of it is going to get lost in the media. You are going to start to hear, I think anyway, in my opinion, a lot of stories linking us with sporting players, but we have been linked with those sort of players in the past anyway. As I mentioned, a few there, Inacio heavily linked in the summer. Diamande was one we were linked with before we got Lenny Yoro. Gyökeres is a player of interest. Hjulmand's been one as well. Do you know what I mean? So there are a few players that we have been kind of scouting. I'm not saying that we won't go for them or get them, because I think Hjulmand would be a really good option, especially if Christian Eriksen's out of contract. They still would like to get rid of Casemiro, I think, because of his wages. So we do need that sort of midfielder, and I don't want to necessarily dismiss it, because most managers, when they do sign for a club, do want to bring in one or two players from their previous club to kind of help them out, help them settle, help kind of, in the dressing room, like a bit of familiarity. And, so there is something in that. So we could possibly see a few sporting players kind of linked or potentially follow Amorim in, because most managers do like to do that when they sign. I mean, we've seen it in the past with Matic when Mourinho was here. Obviously, Ten Hag bought the entire Ajax team with him when he came through, or look at the signings he's made. Majority of them his former players that he's played with in the past. So a lot of managers do like to do that. So I wouldn't rule out bringing in some sporting players. And Hjulmand is one that we have been heavily linked with in the past, and one actually I think would make sense because he plays in that kind of midfield role. Could be an option, especially if we're going to let Eriksen and Casemiro go. Would be a good kind of player to bring in to play with or alongside Ugarte or Mainu, do you know what I mean, and have those kind of rotation options in midfield. So it is one that I think is possible, but do I believe the credibility of that source? No, got to be honest with you, no. So I'd like to see more credibility before we get excited about it. But that's you all up to date with the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Smash a like on the video. Ruben Amorim is our new head coach. So that's got to be worth a like on the video. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about the manager situation. Let me know what you think about all the other stories discussed in today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. See you in the next one.